Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. This is the show where I do quick reviews for the movies that I watch, give them a score out of 10, and then add them to my list. So let's see what movie we're reviewing today. On February 8th, I watched The Player, which came out in 1992. And honestly, I don't even remember how this one got on my watch list, but I'm sure glad it did. My best guess would be that I added it with a bunch of Tim Robbins stuff, because I know he's one of those actors with a tendency to do some stranger stuff that I usually enjoy. This one has both an extremely mainstream Hollywood style, and also a cleverly disguised subtext about just how horrible that community is. Tim Robbins plays Griffin Mill, a studio exec with the awesome power of deciding which movies get made. The number of pitches he hears in a day is truly insane, but also completely believable, and frankly a bit depressing to me as someone who wishes I could write a movie, to know just how many ideas are constantly being pitched to executives like this. With this many pitches constantly coming his way, Mill's answer almost always has to be no, but he's too much of a slick executive type to ever just say no. He's smart enough to know it's better business to keep the creative types full of hope, so they keep working to try and earn that final yes. Everything is always, "We'll see about that," or "I'm definitely interested," or the dreaded "I'll call you back." All these constant rejections inevitably lead to one of those jaded, angry writers, David Kahane, played by the very talented Vincent D'Onofrio, looking to exact some revenge on Griffin Mill. And for the first half of the film, it plays out like that pretty standard creepy stalker storyline. But at about the midway point in the film, a truly surprising twist comes along, and from there, it plays out in a completely unexpected way. I don't want to ruin anything though, because going on that weird wild ride without knowing where it's headed is the best part of movies. And it made me so happy that I had heard almost nothing about this film going in, because this was a truly special ride. It's not spoiling anything though to say that there's a great supporting performance in the way of Whoopi Goldberg as the lead detective, and the number of celebrities who show up to play themselves to establish this world as the real Hollywood is beyond belief. Someone who made this film clearly had a lot of friends in showbiz, because I don't know how they managed to get that many different celebrities to appear, but all those little cameos were just another aspect of this film that made it so great. Another one of my favorite features of this movie is what I would have to call layered conversations, though I'm sure there has to be some more accurate technical jargon term for it, where simultaneous conversations occur in the foreground as well as the background. If it's done wrong, it can be really awkward and annoying, but here I found it pulled me into both conversations in a really interesting and engrossing way. It's one of those little things that had me instantly convinced I would have to go back and watch this one again. I find myself having to really nitpick for flaws here, in things like the slightly mediocre score, or the sometimes too strange performance by Tim Robbins. Because on script and plot alone, this movie was almost perfectly suited to my tastes. I'm always a sucker for these borderline fourth wall breaking meta stories, because they just seem like difficult stories to make work well, and this one worked perfectly. It was easy to tell that this movie was based on a book, because the story was so completely thought out from start to finish, and something in the way it all plays out really does feel like a novel. Based on a novel is one of those features I think you'd find quite common in a lot of the higher rated movies on my list, for that exact reason. Even if some of the finer details of a novel are lost in translation to a film, having that quality of source material can only help in making a movie work. I probably like this one a bit more than it was good, if that makes sense, because the subject matter of the movie is so naturally enticing to me, and I don't know if everyone else will love it as much as I do. That being said, it does have an impressive score on IMDb, and the Metascore is even higher, but maybe that's because not many people have seen it, and the ones that did are more likely to be cinephiles, which is really who this movie is made for. I do think the more movies you watch in general, the more you'll probably appreciate this one, because it's ultimately a huge commentary on the world that creates those movies in the first place. And honestly, if you've never heard of it, and you sit through the opening credits, leading into that wonderfully long tracking shot, and you're not hooked for the rest of the movie, then we just have different tastes, because I couldn't look away after that. I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10, and it landed at number 73 on my list, putting it in between Jurassic Park and A Simple Plan. So this is a strong recommendation. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. Be sure to click like and subscribe for new videos every week. And if you got something you really want me to watch, be sure to drop me a comment.